Hello and welcome to the X Factor Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Epstein. Joining me today is Shivam Bharadwaj, Senior AI Tech for Forus Health. For Forus, Shivam designs AI for ophthalmic and medical imaging when he's not on the clock with Forus. He studies how neuroscience principles can inspire more intelligent and explainable AI. On his LinkedIn profile, Shivam mentions how he applies humor to his work, which is something we're going to want to explore in more depth as we get more and more into this conversation. Shivam, welcome.
Yeah. Hi, Charles. Thank you for inviting me at the podcast.
Sure. I just
Yeah.
want to let people know that we did not plan our shirts. The color coordination, I think,
Yeah.
sets us off very nicely. And I really do appreciate you doing this because what's the time difference? It's more than 12 hours. What is it, 14 hours?
No. It's 9.5 hours.
Oh,
So
it's 9.5. Okay.
I'm 9.5 hours ahead of you.
Yes. Yeah. I know you're
Yeah.
considerably ahead of me. So I really do appreciate you doing
Yeah.
this after hours. So getting right into it, because I know it's a little bit late there. Tell us a little bit about your med tech background and how you got into the field.
Yeah. So I am a electronics and communication graduate. So, but somehow life took me to this biomedical signal processing. So I just pursued MTech and dropped after 1 year. So my projects and my major was the biomedical signal processing there.
Mm.
So I was while doing my MTech, I was more excited towards data science and other things. So I dropped that and studied the data science for 1 year. I did the PG certification into that, and after it, I realized even data science does not excite that much me. So I'm more in ML and AI. So that's how I reached Forus. I joined Forus as a MLE, and now working as a senior technical lead. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. I think very few people wind up where they expected to. We all take these circuitous paths, myself included, and then we find ourselves in this particular lane, and that's it. But so I'm curious, is there anything that drew you specifically to ophthalmic diseases, or was that just sort of a continuum? Being in med
Yeah.
tech and you wound
So
up there.
ophthalmic disease is something. So as I told you, my major in my tech was biomedical signal processing. So in MTech, you need to pick up a research topic. So my research topic was diabetic retinopathy there. And that's how I came to ophthalmic diseases. And I worked on blood vessel segmentation and the technology related to the ophthalmic disease only. So blood vessels segmentation is important thing to know your retina. So what's going on, retina. So usually what happens if you have any ophthalmic diseases, the blood vessels are usually get deformed because of that. So it helps to diagnosis of diseases. So that's how I started in this, but then this data science PG certification happened. After it, I got chance to give the interview for Forus Health, and then things got connected. And the Forus Health is medical device or company which makes the fundus cameras, which helps in enhancing the early diagnosis and disease management in ophthalmic domain. So that's how I'm working on ophthalmic diseases.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's such a highly specialized area. to bring the
Yeah.
data and the AI piece and
Mm,
then the
true.
ophthalmic piece. It's incredibly impressive. So you've been with Forus 6 years, and you're currently, as I mentioned in the intro, senior AI tech lead, which begs the
Yeah.
question, what exactly does a senior AI tech lead do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So if you go for the profile, so it depends on the teams to team. You know, in some team, the tech leads are doing some other jobs. Depends on what they are building. So here, I can tell you about my work. So my work is like related to the product developments along with the research. So we do both. So that is why my job uh, responsibilities are different to a tech lead who is only involved in the product development.
I see.
So yeah, so as being tech lead, I have worked on the different software stacks. Like for example, I've been involved in developing uh, the AI-enabled mobile application for a big company in the partnership, and that helps to wear the lens. So it's a lens assistance. So uh, if you know the people who are trying to wear lenses, they just give up. They just gives up in starting only. So
Wow.
because it's very difficult to adopt, you know, this is the
Yeah.
problem. So to help them, so they can wear it. So it, you know, in live interacts with you. Okay, you go uh, this way, follow these rules, open the eye whites. Then that's how you wear lens, and that's proper guidance.
Mhm.
Two other works which like developing the infrastructure, like envelopes, pipelines, and other things. I've been involved to end to end, and if you see my other works is a proper like ophthalmic diseases dissection. So I work on the hypertensive retinopathy. This is my
Oh,
the disease which for which I like building AI. Other work like in the pure research work I'm exploring, and this is a work. And as if you specifically go for the tech lead job, so tech leads usually like explore the new algorithms and technology that can help uh, the ongoing process in the team the people are doing. For example, exploring new ideas, how we can further improve it out. So this is how, and
yeah.
helping, yeah,
Yeah. No, it's
them.
fascinating work. I'm sure never a dull moment. When was Forrest started? You've been there for 6 years,
Yeah, it's more than 6 years.
and when did the company get started?
In 2010. So earlier, the Forus was building only the cameras and devices. So it builds a range of fundus cameras for adults and the babies, the premature babies. So trying to prevent avoidable blindness. So this is our motto. And but if you realize after like one point that you can only diagnose disease when it has reached to a certain level. Even doctors cannot tell you the what is happening with you in early stages. It's very difficult for even them to diagnose. So to in help doctors to diagnose the diseases early, here's when AI comes in. AI can help doctors. So we build tools, we build products which can help them to like diagnose diseases early. So AI can see the biomarkers and the condition of the fundus image on the species and the patterns, and can tell you uh, where exactly, okay, this is the early signs of a certain disease.
Again, as I mentioned, what you do involves several disciplines, obviously.
Hmm.
And your LinkedIn profile, you mention studying neuroscience principles
Yeah.
in insofar as it inspires more intelligent,
Hmm.
more explainable AI,
Right.
I'm sure there is a connection in your work apart from your avocational interest in
Hmm.
neuroscience. There's a connection between, ophthalmology and
Hmm.
neuroscience. But avocationally, in your studying of this, tell us a little bit more about that. How does that help you understand AI better? How does it help you explain AI better?
Yeah, true. So if you see, the neuroscience principles are already in AI and deep learning. So we have already started like back then. The most of the people don't know what they are doing and from where it came. You know, they are not aware of it. So it happens a lot. They are like mostly focused on the deep learning and AI. But if you see, there are a lot of inspirations and a lot of principles which are directly coming from the neuroscience and cognitive neuroscience and how brain functions, because uh, artificial neural networks basically mimics the brain to certain extent.
Mhm.
And right now, and to bringing more cognitive principles from neuroscience can help us build actually better AI. If you see the advanced LLMs and advanced AI, which is basically you may know as the Chat GPT and other platforms, they are basically the advanced LLMs and advanced deep learning architecture behind it working. That uh, reflects a lot of cognitive principles coming from neuroscience. So it's happening nowadays. But the point is, can we bring to the small problems? So, okay, so these are not anymore simple single architectures. They are the whole system. There are a lot of architectures running behind a single chat GPT or Cloud A or Grok, if you see. So, so bring them to small architectures and how can help. So, for example, if you see the brain, how you give attention to certain things. So there is a principle, attention and silency in like visual cortex in the brain. So your attention is limited to like uh, certain things, and silency guide you. That's how it works. And similarly, we use, so right now there we have heat maps, which reflects where model is basically focusing. So we can like tell, okay, this is the feature in the image which helping it say this image belongs to certain class. For example, image classification. If you say, what is it? We are categorizing image, for example, cat or dog. If you would like go
Mhm.
in like very very easy examples, simple examples, that is a cat or dog. So where you will focus? A cat, probably the face of the cat, structure of the face of the cat, and the structure of the uh, face of the dog is different.
Right.
If model
Sure.
is focusing on the face, if that area is getting highlighted, it means model is learning that thing. If the model is focusing on the legs, like dog as well has the four leg only, and similarly cat has. So means like, or it focusing on a tail, or maybe in focusing on some other part which even doesn't have anything related to cat or dog. It means like model is like somewhere of giving fluke. It may give you right result, but because of something, so it may fail when it will see new set of images, or a little drift in the images can fail the model. So that's how we explain the results. And when you come to medical, AI, it helps a lot. It gives a confidence to doctors to trust uh, the suggestions from the AI, so they can take right decision in diagnosis.
I see. So that's the inspiration behind, I'm sure you're interested in neuroscience just because of the
Yeah,
connections and
that
you're
is
interested in it. But
that is one of the things. So inspiration, my inspiration is to building the new generation of AI algorithms. Because if you see, we have like made a good progress in AI. If you see, but still at the fundamental level, the way deep learning algorithm works is not, uh, truly mimicking your brain. The brain functions in very different way. I know we should be flexible enough to just to take inspiration from neuroscience and build around it, and some truly uh, algorithms which can implement the neurocognitive neuroscience principle. There is a difference between two. I feel when you're working with these things. So when I started in 2021, that time these LLMs are not there. So all of the things I anticipated, no, neuroscience is the one thing which can actually help us to building a new generation AI, and that's right now happening. If you see the advanced LLMs, if you go in the principles, you can see a lot of uh, principles came from neuroscience only.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot we still don't know about the brain, and there's a lot that AI, well, still in its relative infancy, obviously. So,
Mm,
and it really is remarkable how far things have come. Like, for instance, just this is a simple thing, and it's a little bit far afield from what we're talking about. It is related. 6 months ago, I couldn't do. I'm trying to generate an image for a business plan I'm working on with a client, and we're
yep.
trying to prototype it and do a schematic. 6 months ago, we could not do it. Now we're
Mm,
getting very close. We still can't quite do
right.
it. I'm sure in another 3 to 6 months we'll be there, and it's
Sure.
just
Yeah.
remarkable. But I do want to come back to neuroscience and how the brain works and some of the
Mm,
limitations of AI that to the extent that we interact with it
mm,
in business and so forth. I want to put a pin in that, but I do want to get to this idea of humor.
mm,
And when I saw your LinkedIn profile, I was just struck by the work that you're doing with Forus,
mm,
yeah, ophthalmology, neuroscience, and all of a sudden humor.
mm,
It doesn't completely hang together. It's a little bit counterintuitive. Sort of reminds me of a buddy of mine who was the only person I know who majored in physics and theater. They just
mm,
don't go together. It's just an odd combination. So humor. Um, i- have you always had that sensibility? Have you always brought humor to your studies, to your work, or is this sort of an intentional, conscious decision? Say, you know what, this is great
mm.
strategically in my business.
Right. If you see, that is coming from my family itself. My father is a physics professor. I mean, now he's retired, and he's like good musician. He can play harmonium, like a keyboard, piano. So Indian version. I'm not sure you are aware of it or not. So he plays harmonium. He sings well, and he dances well. So he's involved in this creative area. So I have seen.
So he's got the two sides of
So
the brain working.
yeah.
Right,
So
right,
I've seen it my home only.
right.
Creative people getting involved with these kind of things. I feel, and that is pretty much
Although
necessary
it's
as well.
kind of interesting, when you
Mm,
read about some of the great physicists like Richard Feynman, etc.
mm,
While they're great mathematicians, really the great physicists, they don't really talk about math. It's
mm.
a way of looking at the world and a way of thinking and taking these intuitive leaps. So in a way, that's sort of baked into the way their mind works.
Yep. I think when you are involved in certain these kind of things, then you not only de-stressing yourself, you are like making yourself more productive as well. I feel that's what I feel. So once you are involved in this thing, you have like got freshen up. You are like when you're going back to your work, now you have a fresh perspective. Now you can see the things with different angles. It helps there a lot. I personally feel this. So like if you reach to dead end or you are not uh, aware what to do next, or you're struggling here. So rather than just sitting tense somewhere thinking, oh, what I can do better. You get yourself involved in this kind of activities, enjoy, and come back and see with the different angle. Go back to the assumption. What happens many a times, you made some assumption in starting, and then start working, and you forget about the assumption only. You keep uh, rolling in the loop only. When you go out, make yourself busy, get involved, get yourself engaged with these kind of activities, and come back. Now you like start uh, from fresh. Okay,
Right.
these were the assumptions which I made. The assumption has the problem itself. So these kinds of insights usually like you will get when you like de-stress yourself. So de-stress is, I think, pretty much necessary. So
Well, it's
I've
also,
been seeing, yeah,
but as you and I discussed, it's partly that, but it's also hitting that reset button. It's sort of the equivalent of taking
yeah,
a
correct,
walk around the
correct,
block. You clear your head, you can
true,
come at it, uh,
true.
with fresh eyes. The other thing is that we discussed, it's kind of interesting because humor is just observation of a different sort, right? I mean, your work requires very, very minute observation. Humor requires also minute observation, but you're just sort of scrambling things. You're looking at it in a little bit of a
Yeah,
different way.
uh, minute observation is definitely necessary to like humor, and I feel there is one thing, emotional intelligence and emotional quotient. Yeah, if you are struggling with your emotions, you probably won't be able to notice so many things around you.
Hmm.
I can give you an example of a room, you know, like a conference room, let's suppose, and there is a table and there are chairs around it and like placed properly in like that. That's how you put. And there are two chairs which are not organized properly. The chairs placed like this. Now you entered the room. If you're not uh, if you're going with the emotional struggle in your body, you see, you can get related. Yeah, who put this chairs like this? Why these are not organized? Right
Right.
now, if you are like okay in middle, it's like you are not even that much disturbed by your emotions or not even completely sorted out. Now you say, okay, fine. You say you can like what do you just uh, organize them.
Right.
Now you are properly sorted person inside. You enter the room and you see, oh wow, this chair are dating to each other. How
Right.
romantic! This is the difference.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You
Same
know,
setup, three
yeah.
different kind of people, and how they react. This is the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, you mentioned emotional intelligence. So, humor partakes of certain type of observation, emotional intelligence, seeing things through perspective outside of your own. Which sort of begs the question, and I've had this conversation with other people, comedians that I know,
Hmm,
etc. I know several people who actually go to organizations with the idea that they're going to teach people at the workforce to be funny.
hmm.
Um, I don't know how exactly you do that. I think you can teach people to be better at observation. I think you can teach to some extent emotional intelligence. Can you teach people to be funny?
Uh, that's still a question, but I'll try to answer it. You know, we can teach people to see the things from different perspective. Okay, just slow yourself down, take a minute to notice the things. You can train your brain in certain pattern, but still what you see from different angles, that is still up to your personality truly. Like I can go back to example of the apple gravity thing. So the apple fall down. Now Newton, figured out, okay, we got the insights. Oh, there is a gravity. Another person sitting is there can find some humor into it. So it depends what your interests are. If you're not interested in the humor at all, you cannot like create the interest. Discipline. You are inclined towards you're purely scientific or you're purely some other serious business. So it's your interest. I think. Of course, we can train people with lot of things, writing jokes, better writing, and telling stories, but making uh, things funny out of it, it's a question. So
Yeah.
that depend on if you see the dark humor, how it is. Like there is a dead body somewhere, how you would react. And of course, I probably, I mean, you probably have seen it somewhere, like dark humor and comedy around things. So there's a dead body, but still, like you are laughing around it. Depends how you're depicting the scene, the people
Yeah.
around it. So it depends. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said, for instance, I've seen something, I've had to see it again to actually see the humor. Or maybe there are certain
Mm,
things somebody has to point it out to me because it's subtle or it's a little bit far afield or something like that. I forget who it was who once said um, that you can't, you can dissect a joke, but it's sort of like dissecting a frog. It dies in the process. So
mm.
the act of dissecting humor, you're never going to find the humor because you're too far gone. So there's no such thing. It's a contradiction. It's a contradiction in terms. The people you work with at Forus, um, are you perceived as someone who has a sense of humor?
Sorry, I couldn't get that. Please come again.
Your colleagues at Forus. I
Yeah.
mean, is your sense of humor an obvious, like if people were asked to describe you, would they say, "Oh,
Uh,
he's this, that, and the other"? Oh yeah, he's a very funny guy.
no, no, no. Not like that. I usually do not get perceived like this other people. So first thing, I believe remain quiet most of the time. So if you
So the
see,
humor is so is the humor more like
I
internally directed?
yeah,
You
yeah,
use
yeah.
humor to distress and to
At
deal
at
with
the funny
things.
person, I don't think people do see me as a funny person. Of course, I can write good jokes. I can have laughs with people while talking to each other, but still, I don't have that persona. Uh, you know, the second thing, I used to write things while I was in 10th grade and other things. So I have like rediscovered writing and jokes recently. So probably people can see me as a like great storyteller. Sorry, I mean a good storyteller with humor. But as a funny guy, I'm not sure. I can tell good stories with humor. There's a difference being funny and telling good stories. So if you see a lot of comedians, they are actually not a funny personality.
Yeah.
They can tell you the stories which can make you laugh. They are very
Yes.
serious people. That's I
Right.
believe.
No.
Very, very,
Absolutely.
very, very silly, serious people. So I feel and funny. Even though the funny people which appears to be funny usually are not funny. If you see the great example of Charlie Chaplin, so he appeared to be funny, and when he used to reach to stage, he can like alert the everyone moods and things. But in the real life, how much a serious person he was.
Yeah.
I read
And
about
his
him. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But his stuff, like I think the best humor is situational.
mm,
It's not jokey. It's presenting scenarios and having them unfold in
mm,
ways that are just naturally funny because they point out the absurdity in everyday life that people who are not as observant don't see. They just pass by and they just don't see it. So I think,
mm.
you see that in satire, which is, I mean, satire, obviously different forms of humor. Satire obviously is supposed to resemble, and it's the actual event. And sometimes the best satire is almost indistinguishable from just a matter of fact laying out of facts. Of course, the classic example being Swift's Modest Proposal. People were shocked, horrified, but
Mm.
it was meant as satire. Wit is not necessarily to produce humor, to produce laughs. It's just juxtaposing ideas in certain ways that strike you as absurd and
Yeah,
reveals a deeper truth in a particular situation, makes you look at things a little bit differently. So, yeah, it's a very interesting topic, and I'm actually thinking of putting together
yeah.
a panel
There are actually
on
certain
it.
tricks which can, like, if you master them, you can make people laugh, I believe. Not from physical comedy. Physical comedy is more tough, more tougher than this thing. When you are enacting something and then making the people laugh. But storytelling is something has its own, power. You are telling a story, taking people back to certain moments, or taking them to certain moments that they probably have not gone yet. So in those kind of situation, when people imagine themselves and their reaction, then they laugh.
Yeah.
So storytelling works in pretty different way with humor, and you can tell serious things. Still, people can laugh.
You know, one way I can, it would be kind of an interesting exercise. And by the way, sort of another way of looking at this, I just had an interesting conversation with somebody about AI. And I said
Mm,
that when I first encountered Chat GPT,
mm,
um, what I did is I came up with crazy scenarios, and they were kind of
mm,
funny and fun. Okay, Chat GPT, take an assembly manual, how to assemble a
mm,
desk and turn it into a haiku poem, or take certain lines of dialogue and turn it into Elizabethan English. And so it was a playful exercise, but in the spirit of play, I learned a lot about its power and its limitations. So, taking that kind of approach to serious things could be very educational and informative,
mm,
so that's sort of another way. And if I were actually, it just occurs to me, if I were actually teaching a workshop in humor with people who did not think that they were inherently funny,
mm,
I'd say, okay, take a scenario. Let's say it's at a workplace. Take a scenario, and I want you to describe it in excessive minute detail. I
yeah.
mean, nothing is too small to be noted. Okay,
Mm,
take the smallest thing and make it as big as possible. Not by being satiric or trying to be funny, but just every little bit of detail. And I guarantee you the end result would be funny because the smallest thing is just overloaded with detail. And that is such a central premise in comedy.
true. I feel so. What you said, that makes a lot of sense. Uh, so when you understand, so minute details means you understand the process pretty well. Now, if you can differentiate, you go in that process in detail. Now you know, okay, what are the things I can change, and what are things are not. So, like, keep the things same so people can relate, and insert or reorder the things so people can think, oh, is it a is it possible? If I would have done it, how would it sound? So, like tricking the people in the situation is a key, I believe. Telling same thing but in a different way, different order.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense, I feel. So for doing that, understanding the process in detail is very pretty much important. Like for example, I write sketches and jokes or parallel wordplay around the technology. So for example, in neural network, if you see and you pass the image, and at last you will get the class label, so in which category it belongs, image, for example, cat or dog. So while I was writing this one of the sketch, what if you know it's about the I personify the image itself, like let's suppose image as a mother and feature as the child's. Now it's about the reputation. Okay, I'm a cat and I need the cat label to us. The image belongs to cat. Now the every features, like going inside the neural architecture and how the neurons will respond to the features. So I have to think in that level. So basically, neurons is a biological term for the nodes in artificial neural network. So as a metaphor, I will use neuron here. So neuron works like as a gatekeeper, and that gatekeeper can has own bias. Like, oh, I only prefer the tall guys or short guys, or you don't fit. The feature is good only. It is coming from the relevant area, like that kid has the full potential to be like get go through that gate. But gate itself is like biased. Oh no, I want to let you go in. So I just went in that detail, understand the function, how the feature is flowing, and then write the complete sketch and try to make as humorous as possible, as from at least from my side. I don't
Right.
know the people find it funny or not. That's a different question. No, I believe okay. In the starting, you can laugh at my jokes or me. Either way, I'm fine.
Right. Right. So right. So long as the end result is the same. Right. Um,
Yeah.
which leads me to actually the last question I want to ask. And I mentioned that we were talking about AI and how it mimics, or at least attempts to mimic, the way the brain
Mm,
works, neural networks, and so forth. And I think you and I had this conversation in the pre-production call that we
mm,
had. And I mentioned to you, as I just mentioned, my first encounters with AI was throwing all this crazy stuff at it. And, you know, also I've noticed I've tried to coax humor from,
mm,
and it goes not just for chat, it goes for Claude and, all the platforms, Grok, etc. Um, and I've tried, but I've been able to produce what I characterize as wit, which is really just almost like a logical construct in a
mm,
way. Um, but humor, where you're actually laughing, where it just creates that spontaneous reaction, I've not been able to do that with multiple prompts. It just doesn't do it. I don't know if you've had a similar experience. If not, and I also mentioned we've all experienced the remarkable strides that all these LLMs have made in a relatively short period of time. So I put nothing past them. And I'm sure there is a way to create, if you were so inclined, one that was focused exclusively on generating comedic
mm. True.
content, right? I'm sure you can say, okay, I'm going to throw in all the works of George Carlin and all the works of Robin Williams and going or Oscar Wilde, a whole range of things, and so it has this huge corpus of comedic, satiric material, and it can, based on that, and you could obviously dial in the kind of humor that probably can be done. What's your thinking on that?
So I can explain you it in better way because I understand the both side from the user perspective and how LLM actually function from that perspective as well. So right now, LLMs only try to predict the next word. It doesn't even can predict the whole word at once. So that's how at we are pretty early stage. You if you see a baby, a small 1 or 2 years old, a child, what he can speak, only a few words here and there. And now we are expecting that small kid to like do everything. It has masters few things. It has masters how to walk, and lot of things, other things he has mastered. But if you speaks, okay, now you stand there and give a full speech. That is not possible.
Right.
So lot of things a baby can do well, but lot of other obvious things baby struggles. Similarly, LLMs behaves because we are pretty early stage. So once it will evolve, one there will be context memory. So right now, a lot of people are building it. ChatGPT is a whole system behind it. Once you start chatting to it, it provides you certain memory to it. Once you like delete it, again you ask the same question, it doesn't know anything. Whatever the discussion you had, because that memory is gone, that's deleted. Or probably they have preserving it for different reasons at a different story altogether. But for the matter of a user point of view, it's gone. So similarly, but of course, as we evolve, the LLMs can remember their experience, because like if you start writing or trying to stories which can make people laugh, in starting you will as well struggle. Probably your jokes won't land properly, your story flow won't be correct. So now you will come back, think again, okay, where I can improve, what how I what like what are the other ways I could present the same thing. So this is how you will think, you will analyze this stuff. So we are still in pretty early stage. I'm not I don't know the LLMs can be like funny or humorous. When I don't know that time, but I'm sure the things will improve. But I feel still there are few things where I think not in I cannot foresee those things are coming soon.
Yeah, because it clearly understands the concept.
Yeah.
I mean, I've asked it to do certain things with some basic prompts, and it produced something that clearly was comedic, just
Mm,
wasn't funny. And it's not just, and I don't think it was just my reaction to it to say it wasn't funny. I don't think it objectively was funny to the extent that I can say that. I understand there's a little bit of an asterisk to that, but
mm.
again, it understands the concept. It understands how to attempt to be funny and the difference between something that's just a straight ahead kind of narrative and something that has comedic intent or comedic feel, a comedic tone, but it just can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost
So
like the difference between, knowing all the ingredients for a particular dish, but not being able to bring them together in a way that's going to create the savory dish.
true. So I can give you example. So I just remember one example. The chefs, what is the difference? You eat, you enjoy, and uh, once a chef eat something new or something dish, he can actually correlate all of the things. He can like things. Oh, what would have been gone? What would be the ingredients to make this dish?
So they could
So
sort of
this is
reverse
a this is a
engineer.
yeah,
So
that
you
that
say
is
like
a
a chef could eat something and
yeah.
sort
So
of reverse
he
engineer it.
can yeah. So that is true. So we actually do that. We in like in behind in subconscious mind we do a lot of things. You somehow the you say some people say sixth sense, your gut sense. What is this? Your subconscious pre-processing stuffs. You see a lot of things, and your main memory gives you whatever is necessary. Okay, in today, like we are talking about this all of these things. So I am right now in my memory would have this thing only. A lot of other things in conscious mind I can remember and telling you from where, because it has already in my subconscious mind and it's saying, okay, this is related to this. I should tell this. So this is how it's getting processed. but LLMs do not have this stuff right now. So this is where we are lacking about. And of course, and this goes well with the people who want to focus. If they can deliberately call their experiences and decode them, okay, in certain conditions, if they can remember, okay, uh, these were the days when the lot of four people I was sitting with. I was sitting with my friends, and these were the things are happening there, and we were laughing. What was the moment? Why we were laughing? If we go step by step, probably you can understand. Okay, first thing, we were together, and uh, we were discussing these stuffs. So what are these things? Why we are laughing? All of these things. So we have to go decode other things. We have decode experiences. I think these are the observations people do. So this is a observational comedy I was talking about, and this goes well in other things as well. So if you're in daily, like if you go decoding things step by step, I think it helps.
Yeah, it helps, but there is that extra step. Now,
Hmm.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
tell me.
it's something that we describe as artistry, which may be hard to quantify, hard to define, the ghost
Hmm.
in the machine, if you will, but it's that something that, you know, again, I know that they can decode and understand the formula, but it's a
Hmm.
matter of can they create it in a way that's going to be the genuine article.
Yeah, I mean, right now, though, of course, we cannot say it, but maybe it will evolve over the time.
Yeah, that's that's the inherent parenthetical to all these conversations as of now, as of this conversation, what we know now. You
Yeah,
know, you really can't go beyond that because, again, we've seen the strides this stuff has made in 2 weeks before it was struggling to do this. Now it does it with great ease and panache. We live in a crazy world,
yeah,
and getting more so. But one of the things I think came out of this, I think you and I could probably collaborate on a workshop that would help people at the workplace appreciate comedy and maybe even able to create something that has a comedic flavor. They may not necessarily be ready to take it on tour or to get up on stage or create a
mm,
situation comedy, but they can probably, use it in their work. And, yeah, it's interesting because I wasn't sure when I came across your site when you talked about comedy, if it was something that, you used in your work in a more, for lack of a better word, performative way, as opposed to using in a conscious way to give yourself a fresh way of looking at things, a reset button. So it's clearly something at a minimum you incorporate in your day to day work, which makes you better at what you do.
yeah, true. Actually, so in even our day-to-day life, when we are like going with serious work, and we still we talk to each other, we laugh on our failures, even our failures. We are doing wonderfully bad work. We laugh on like this, why this is not working, and we relax ourselves. We quite often do that,
Yes,
and
well,
I think that
that's a
is,
great point. That's a great point.
yeah.
You got to give yourself the freedom to fail, and if you don't have that sense of humor, it could lead to frustration and thwart that.
Mm,
The humor, says, okay, well, that was a failure, and you could laugh it off a little bit, learn something, and carry it forward because, obviously
right,
it's the only way we're going to make any kind of strides.
because
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to add one thing. Uh, because even my profile as being like experimentation, not all experiments will like be successful. It will fail. Even the most of the experiments actually fails. Only few experiments gets success. So we have to learn how to deal with it. This is a very important thing. People who do try new things, explore new things. So success is very 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 low chances are there we will get that. We often meet failure only.
Yeah. And again, the humor cushions it and gives you the grace
Hmm.
to fail again. You can fail 5 times, 6 times, and maybe the 7th time there's a breakthrough.
True.
That's the way it always works.
Yep.
Shivam, thanks so much. I really do appreciate this. And we're going to
Yeah.
have to revisit this a little bit down the road. I really do appreciate you taking the time, particularly
Yeah.
given the time difference.
Sure. Thanks to inviting me. It was a nice experience to talk to you on these topics, and actually realizing uh, how important, because we do often, laugh with each other without realizing it is actually important or not. But this conversation actually realized me. Okay, this is the something which is a must to have, not good to have even.
Yeah, agreed. I think we're going to end it there. Those are great words to end
Yeah.
on. Thank you, Shivam. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.